all right, WNBA. I every day there's new news, and every day there's just like ignorance at the highest level that you learn about the league, or that the decisions that they make, they're just mind blowing. And it's like, do you people not see what you're doing? You'll see my videos out there. They've gotten thousands and thousands of hits, and that uh, I just think I think that they've blown a golden opportunity to make the league relevant and to build it around Caitlin Clark. And there are some other players, and Paige Bruckers, I talked about it the other day. I'm not going to get into repeating it all, but you didn't. Everybody hates, and I should trademark this. The Kate hate is real. It's very, very real. This is new. You can find it on my YouTube channel, again, at PB Sports Talk. Kelsey Plum from the Los Angeles Sparks sees a Caitlin Clark fan in the front row. I believe that this gal and her friend or friends was asking for a picture with Kelsey Plum, but she had a Caitlin Clark shirt on. And Kelsey Plum, the arrogant person that she is, and this isn't the first time, and her hate for Kate is known, she goes and gets a T-shirt and gives it to the girl, and in order to take a picture, makes her put that shirt on over her Caitlin Clark shirt, and then takes the picture and says, do better next time. I mean, like, you can hate the girl, or I don't even want to use the word hate. You could dislike the girl for the popularity and, oh, I'm a Kelsey Plum and I'm 30 and I've earned my status in this league, and this Caitlin Clark gets all this fame and I didn't have it and I'm not as marketable as her. You could choose to be that way, or you can choose to embrace it. And however long you're going to stay, Kelsey, this year, 30, 31, 32, 33, maybe 34, a lot of the girls play till, you could choose to embrace it, or you can choose to fight it. And if you fight it, it's less for you. It's just bottom line. If you embrace it, then it's more for you. It's more popularity for the league. It's more popularity for the teams. It's better for a rivalry, and it's better for you. But when you act this way, and the league acts this way from a leadership standpoint, from a referee standpoint, and hey, we all know, sorry, ladies, I'm sure you all admit, I've talked to a lot of ladies and have had friend ladies, my wife, women like to catfight. And so if somebody's infringing on somebody's territory, right, it's not always well received. And I think we're seeing some of that, and some of that's going to be normal. But as it relates to a league of gals that want to be paid more, and if you have somebody for basically the first time in history, in 27, 28 years, I'm going to repeat it again, never profited once in 27, 28 years. Franchise holders, the NBA, they never profited for a lot of these teams, and now Detroit's taking on an expansion team, and I'll get to that in a moment. It's an add-on. It isn't a moneymaker. They're using it to make money in other ways and market to those people for other products that they offer. It's standing alone itself as an entity to be profitable, it's not. And acting this way and running your league this way is going to ensure that it won't be profitable. Ever. Like ever. You have to embrace these players. You don't have to treat them, any kind of special way, but don't tear it down. Don't burn it at the stake when you have something that drew in people, and what you wanted the most was male eyes. You wanted male viewership to increase. You are trying to appeal to that with this whole runway thing, with the sexism thing, and then you make it the WWE of basketball. It's lunacy. So last night's the Commissioner's Cup finals, and the Fever win it. There's $500,000 to the team, to the winner of the Commissioner's Cup. I believe there's 10 players on Indiana's roster right now. Now, they're going to divvy it up, I'm sure, between the coaches and stuff like that, personnel, and however they do it. But let's just, for the sake of discussion, take $500,000 and divide it by 10 players. That's $50,000 a player, okay? Multiple players. One is right at like 52,000, and two are just over 52, 53, 55, 56. Caitlin Clark's at 76,000 because she's still on her original deal. So they make as much money in this game. Ready for this? I promise I'm not making this up. They make as much money in this game in the middle of the season that they do on their entire contract. All right. But here's the crazy part. And Caitlin Clark's video of what she says in the locker room after the win last night, after she shotguns a beer, either right before or right after she shotguns a beer, is they got something up on TikTok, and they're like, we're getting paid more for this game, this win in season, than we do for winning it all. And she says it doesn't make any sense. So I had to look it up. It's $20,000 to the player if you win the whole thing. Like, I suppose that the thinking might be, let's pay them $50,000 and make them take it serious in the regular season, so they want to continue on. This is just, it's still flawed logic. It isn't logic. It's just flawed decision making. Let's pay them 50 if they win this, and then hey, if they keep it going, we'll give them another 20 at the end if they win the whole kit and caboodle. What? It's like they can't even get out of their own way. All right, so this is really killing me because it's coming. The picture's coming into clarity now. Like the fuzziness is going away, and you can see through all of what they're trying to do. So again, it was 12 teams. You added a 13th team this year. 2 are slated to come on board next year. That makes it 15. Then you have Detroit, Cleveland, and Philly by 2030, which will bring it from 15 teams, 13 to 15 next year, to 18 by 2030. All right. How does that make any sense when you never profited for 27, 28 years? You're going to add all of these teams, and you're trying to add all these teams, and make no mistake about it, folks. These teams jumped in, and these conversations happened as a result of Caitlin Clark for no other reason. It's obvious as obvious can be. So they say, oh, we got all these eyeballs. Oh, we got this viewership. Oh, we got all these guys talking about it. Oh, we got the Angel Reese thing. Oh, we got which is not a rivalry. They're 2 completely different players, and they're Caitlin Clark's one of the best all-around players the league has ever seen, and it's 80% of Angel Reese's shots come within inside of 5 feet, and she shoots 45%. And anything outside of 5 feet, like 5 feet or further, she's shooting at 28%. Can't do anything but stand there and get rebounds and basically putbacks. So whatever. Not the same kind of players. This is 100%. And they don't like to hear it, but it's true. Whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, how this whole thing developed and how it gained some momentum, and how the viral nature of it for women's basketball, not just viral in terms of online, social, but popularity, just generally, it grabbed at the right time. And then you brought in all the eyeballs, and then you fucked it up. Sorry for the language. You totally screwed it up because you let it become pinball, roller derby out there. And I literally have, between the Sophie video and the Caitlin Clark videos, I have 500,000 views. I have thousands. It's thousands of comments right now. And it's like you see what these comments are, and people are pissed. Like, I just want to watch basketball. If I want to watch wrestling, I'll go where that market is completely taken by the WWE. If I want to watch boxing, I'll go watch boxing. But I want to watch basketball, and I want to see what these girls can really do. This is not like some piano lesson where everything is just going to be quaint. We understand these girls are competitive, and it's not always going to go perfectly. And so, tempers will flare a little bit. But where you have full-blown takedowns and slamming in this era, this isn't the Bad Boys era. I grew up in Detroit. This isn't the Bad Boys area where that was like, yeah, and that's guys, right? This is, some guy did jump on today, and he's like, hey, I like it. And hey, it wouldn't be as popular if this wasn't happening. I see where he's coming from, and that has gained eyeballs, and people are looking at that. But it's not sustainable. If you continue on, it's just going away. It's going to implode. And remember this, and I have a mentor that taught me this a long time ago in terms of $100 bill. And when everybody and every store and every gas station, or when you go into a festival, this is how it was taught to me. And I'll never forget it. Tom, I love you. Because I was a vendor, and it was when I owned my jewelry company. said, all right. And he grabbed something. He might have grabbed a dollar bill. And he said, let's imagine this is $100 bill. And you pull up at a festival. You got to pay for parking. That's $8. Let's say you got a couple of kids with you. You got cotton candy, you got a hot dog, you got a hamburger, sausage, whatever it is. You got to do that. Then you got to go buy over. Got to go do the trinket type thing for the kid. Maybe you came over to my booth. You bought, some silicone ring or something for the kid. The point is, and we're talking like 20 years ago. The point is that $100 went really, really fast, right? Well, the same thing is with our attention span. And there's only so much of an attention span that a viewer, a follower, a fan has anymore. Because unlike 25 and 30 and 35 years ago, there wasn't social media. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't as many things driving at one's attention or driving for one's attention from the Netflixes and the Amazons and the smartphones and everything that can be done now, and the pull and relationship and children and children's events and their sports and any type of pleasure activities and travel and again phone and internet and reality TV, and there's so much for people to choose from now. So the landscape has changed, the dynamic has changed, and I'm trying it in what I'm doing. To be quite honest, there's a lot of people that do what I do. And if I can't figure out a way to do it better and I can't figure out a way to do it different, it's not going to work. You can't monetize it. So I better come with something that I'm going to acquire people to want to follow me and want to view what it is that I'm offering in a different way, right? Innovate, create, and differentiate. It's a create, innovate, and differentiate. It's been a model that I've used in business for a very, very long time. And every single day, if I'm not doing something different, somebody else either is, or I'm just going to get left in the dust. And so the WNBA has to recognize that it's just like that. You're competing in a male-dominated area at the pro level, and the NBA viewership is down. So you're going through all this expansion in an environment where interest has gone down for a number of different reasons. Politics have caused some of that. The drain on people's time and energy and just the choices, money, going to the games. It's not cheap, folks. We're in an inflation area coming directly off of COVID. People have taken a freaking beating. And I raised my hand in business. I took a beating, an absolute crushing the last 2 years because of how things changed. People's behavior changed. So you're the WNBA. You're going to go from 12 to 13 to 15 to 18 in like that. And Sophie Cunningham comes out yesterday, and I honestly, I don't know her, but I don't think that she meant to say it in the way that she said it. I think it came off wrong. And she said, I don't know about this, and I'm not sure that people are going to want to go to Cleveland. I'm not sure that people are going to want to go to, Detroit. Boy, Dan Gilbert, Detroit guy, owns Cleveland Cavaliers, and he'll own that team. And he comes out, and I don't think it was anybody else. And I know Dan Gilbert. I spent a little bit of time working for Dan Gilbert, and I've met Dan Gilbert. And I had a moment in Dan Gilbert's class. And I'll just tell you that real quick because it's a really cool story. I put it on social yesterday. It's 2007. I'm at Plymouth at St. John's in Michigan. I'm going to Quicken Loans mortgage banker orientation. There's about 300 people. And I never wanted to go to become a mortgage banker. Honestly, they were known for their training. That's why I entered. It was 6 weeks. I was going to get paid for the training, and then I was going to leave. That was always the plan. Sorry, Dan. It really was. And I learned a shit ton. And at the orientation, in this massive hall where there's a DJ and there's all this stuff because they want to fire up their people to get excited about something that is not easy to do. And a lot of people try. And he's standing up in front. He asks the question. And he says, who's the person that we talk to most of the day? Your mother, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter? Who is it? And I'm in the second row. And the guy that I walked up in there with, I go, hey, and my mom had just passed the year before. And I said, my mom always taught me, sit in the first row, second row at worst. I said, why don't we go and sit in the first row? And so we did. And I was just to the what would be his left. And for us, it was just to the right of him. And when he asked that question, I felt like I knew what the answer was. So I spoke up about it and I said, we speak to ourselves most. And he looks over because he was kind of walking back and forth, and he was kind of turned, and he turns around and he said, "Who said that?" And I raised my hand, and he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Paul." And he said, "Stand up and turn around," because I was in the front, "turn around to the entire crowd and tell them what you just answered to the question." And I did that. And I said, "The person that we talk to most every day is ourselves." And Dan says, "That's exactly right." And he says, "Everybody give him a hand." And, the place roared. It was kind of a cool moment, one I'll never forget. And I shared that again with Dan last night. He don't remember who I was, but I commented on his comment about what Sophie Cunningham said. And so Dan's a hell of a businessman, and he understands it. And they know how to run operations at the Cavs, and he'll get his people interested. And he learned a lot from the way the Palace did it. And so the comment by Sophie was, who wants to go to Cleveland? Who wants to go to Detroit? And those aren't places that she wants to go. She wants to go to warm weather places, right? She mentions these warm climates, and I know what she's doing. I get it. But somebody came out and said, as an argument against what Sophie said yesterday on X, and said, the two largest crowds ever to attend a WNBA game was in 2003 and 2007 at the Palace for the Detroit Shock. Now, during that time, I was a sponsor for the jewelry company at that time for the Palace. What is 2003 and 2007? What is that range? That's Detroit Piston time. That's Joe Dumars, that's Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, etc. Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and going through the going to work Pistons. And they took the Shock around the Pistons and they packaged it together. So our sponsorship deal was, hey, you can be a part of this and you can be a part of that. And it's an add-on, folks. It's an add-on. It isn't a money driver itself. And I don't think it's going to be for Dan Gilbert either. As a standalone, it can't make money. As an addition to a portfolio, it might make sense. But eventually, Bill Davidson, who owned the Detroit Shock after winning 3 championships, sells the team, and they go to wherever. And now it's talk about, hey, let's bring it back, and Tom Gores is going to take it over. Again, these conglomerates like this and Platinum he's Platinum Equity. He's going to add it in as a package. He's going to add it in as sponsorship. He's going to try to bring women to the arena, and then they try to take that and they try to get more women to the male game and get more sponsors that cross over to both. And it's a strategic move that way. But from the standpoint of the game standing alone on itself, it will absolutely fail. And so they strategically have to put it in places like Cleveland with Dan Gilbert, and like at Little Caesars Arena with Tom Gores, and a mechanism that is in place there where they can build it around. You got to be careful where you go. Now, in Philly's the other one, and they're going to try it in Philly, and I'm not sure that that's going to work either. But the bottom line to this, all of this, is the interest to even do this as a Gores. You don't want to just take on work to take on work. It has to make sense. You don't want a product that's diluted, that people don't want to see because it's not ref properly, it's not managed properly. And while that will be their franchise, they don't run the league. They don't make the decisions for the league. They'll have a vote and they'll be involved in the meetings, but it's a WNBA owned commodity, owned entity, and then it's franchised. I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. Tom Gores doesn't get to make league decisions. Dan Gilbert doesn't get to make league decisions. They'll vote and they'll try to make things better, but it's like you chopped your legs out before you even had a chance to run. And it was right there. It was literally right there. And to see them just totally blow this, and they're still blowing it. Like, after the fans have lashed out, they're still screwing up. It's absolute, like, something I can't even recall seeing. And people are like, why you talk so much about, the WNBA? Because it's a big thing. It's viral. It's being talked about. The attention to it is astronomical right now for a whole bunch of different reasons, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm just not going to do that. And it's very difficult to speak highly about the game right now. There's some good players in the league. You're going to go ahead and go from, it's basically 10, 11 players per roster. It's simple math. You're going to go add 5 franchises and another 50 players and dilute what is already a league that doesn't have enough talent to sustain, just from a talent perspective, to make it interesting to, again, pull in a viewer who has all their attention in all these different places. You have to give it a reason to pull away from that to come here. You already have every card in the deck stacked against you in a male-dominated sport. You can agree with that or disagree with it. It's a male-dominated sport at the professional level, and the viewership at the professional level has gone downward for quite some time. And then you have people like ESPN who are specifically targeting the person who brought in all the eyeballs. So you actually have large media organizations that are against the very reason or the very ingredient that is helping this expansion take place. So you actually have like two forces going up against each other, and it literally makes no sense. It's like imploding from within. It's self-destruction. It's like a spiral that they can't seem to control, and they keep getting exposed for how poorly they're run. It's like they're celebrating and they're banging the pots and pans, right, with a metal spoon and making all this noise. But there's serious, serious flaws that I believe it's just going to destroy itself, and it's never going to work. I think you'll see these people turn away, and they have already, people have turned away that came in, which is what they were trying to do. They came in and they walked away. So you got them. You had them. Now you lost them. Now you're going to ask them to come back? That is so freaking hard to do in business. That is so hard to do in entertainment. You have to give them a reason to come. And then if you lose them, you got to do 10x the work to get them back. And I don't think they can do that. The product's not good enough to do that. There are not enough Caitlin Clarks and Paige Brookers. Angel Reese is not a star attraction, folks. She's not even a starter on the all-star team. But Paige Brookers is you can tell she's a tremendous talent. Caitlin Clark to date has been the best all-around player. She can basically do everything on the floor. Somebody said, oh, she has no handle. Look at the highlights. While that might not be the strongest part of her game, she is a lifer. And that's the other thing, folks. The last thing about the WNBA here. Again, I know what they were doing, the runway, the sexualization, get the man's eyeballs. How many girls are in this league of this new push that they have going? You think Angel Reese is in the game for the game? Or do you think she's in the game for the platform that the game is now provided with popularity to then go take that platform and monetize it in all the other areas with her shoe, with commercials, with fashion, with all of those types of things? She's not a lifer. I don't believe she's a lifer. I don't believe she's a gym rat. Caitlin Clark wants the money, and she's ultra wealthy already right now. Her salary is $76,000, but it's a $28 million deal, I believe, with Nike and countless other things in the works for her. She might be the first, not the first billionaire athlete. I think Serena Williams hit that, but she's going to make plenty of money, and it already has plenty of money. But it's like in her blood to be a gym rat. Like that just seems like that's what makes her tick. And I think that there's some of the others that it isn't that. And so if you have people that are using it for a fashion show runway and trying to acquire a social media platform, and there's nothing wrong with having a social media platform and having a following and monetize yourself. There isn't, but it's in the reverse. So if you come to the game and you're coming with that objective versus I'm going to be the best player I can be and I'm getting after it and I'm just going to, I'm going to be the best of my game, and I'm never going to stop, and that's my sole focus. I don't think we're looking at that. We're some of them, but I don't think league-wide you're going to see that. There's just not enough talent to support 18 teams. There isn't. You can make an argument there's not enough talent to support the 13 teams right now to make it interesting enough. And that's not just my opinion. I talk to so many people and watch every day. And there's a lot of people that believe that it's not only a train wreck, but that it's just not fun to watch. And so we'll see what ends up happening.